All right, new recording. Don't put that in the pocket. I don't want John Starks might be listening.
What's he gonna do? He's old and washed. Trash. All right, what's up, world? Welcome back to another episode of the best podcast in the universe, the Top 10 Movie Podcast with Mike and my boy Mulley. What's good, Mulley?
What's going on, guys?
We're back with another episode, and we are glad you guys are back with us. We love doing this, so let's just keep it moving. Go right to the next topic.
Ooh, what's this one this week?
This is the top 10. I have the top 10 worst casting decisions in movies.
Yeah, that's what top 10 worst casting choices for movies.
Yeah.
Basically.
So this is basically just it can be any character, but I guess primarily that's going to be the lead character in the film because they're the ones that stand out. Anytime an actor that we saw in the movie felt like they were wrong for the role for whatever reason they didn't work. That's this whole list for me, and I believe for you.
Yes, and I just you know how I do. I did a little research on this one, and I kind of needed some help because I just couldn't. I was trying to come up with 10. I think you even contacted me before we were getting the list together, and you were kind of like, "Did you get 10? Because if not, we just do 5."
Oh no, this was done literally an hour before I showed up to the spot today. Yeah, literally. So this is literally off the cuff. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Okay.
This may be one of the shortest 10 and 10 we've ever done. I don't
Oh,
know.
dang. All right. Well, I think what I found out in looking about other people's list and what maybe the media put together, because I probably went to almost 10 sources, different, just take a look and see what other people were thinking, Reddit threads, that kind of thing, and see, I had some initially that I knew I kind of wanted to include. I found that a lot of people had the same people on their kind of list too. So I think we may have some commonalities, if not with each other. I think some people at home, when they automatically think about bad casting choices, they're going to think about the same things because they're universal. But I do want to put this little clause or note to it as well. The fact that if it's a really bad acting performance, it doesn't always equate to a bad movie, but it's more than likely a bad movie, and that people actively avoid. And we're more on the pulse of movie news than most people are, at least I am. So if it gets bad reviews or I'm hearing bad things about it, I'm not going to go see it. So I'm not going to go see that performance. So I only put performances on the list that I've actually watched.
Okay.
And not ones that I've heard. Like one of the bigger ones that was on a lot of people's list was one movie that I've never seen. And forgive me, I don't remember the title of the movie, but it was John Wayne playing Genghis Khan. And it was just such a diverse from what he's known for, and then playing a race swapped kind of Genghis Khan, like that was really terrible casting.
Super disrespectful.
It was,
man.
And so I don't have that on my list because I didn't watch that movie. But obviously that is one that a lot of people point to. But there's a lot of those that are like that. So just necessarily because I don't talk about it, I'm not sure how you approach your list. That's the way I approach it. I've had to actually watch it and sit through it to like dislike it.
Yeah.
To put it on my list. And I figured you're probably the same. And if we're simpatico about that, then that's why some of your worst casting choices might not be on our list, simply because we avoided that movie outright.
Yeah, no, the same for me. Like anything on this list is a movie I saw and just didn't like the performance because I felt the actor didn't fit the role, didn't fit the vibe of the movie, and because I've seen them in other things where maybe they did shine. So if you're in 10 movies and you shine in 9 movies and you didn't shine in 10, it's probably because you were miscast.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
Yes.
And also, for me, I don't do much research. I like to come in here and freestyle. Well, you do the research, so again, you're in the front of the class student, I'm the back of the class. So that's how we kind of roll.
Well, and again, one of the reasons why, because my memory is so rough sometimes. I say, Doc Holliday instead of Doc Hollywood. That kind of thing happens to me. So I need to do some research and read it off a sheet. Even that being said, I still said that wrong. Okay. Anyway, I guess I'll kick it off if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
The first one on my list, this is the first one I thought of. This is the standout, terrible casting performance. And it's from 1995. It's a superhero movie called Batman Forever. And it stars, in this particular case, worst casting choice, highlighted nominee, Tommy Lee Jones as Harvey Dent, Two-Face in that movie. Look, he's sitting beside Jim Carrey as the Riddler, who's chewing up scenery already. Like, he has got his full Ace Ventura on, man. Jim Carrey is going to town, way over the top. And it's almost as if Tommy Lee Jones, who I know on set despised Jim Carrey, that he was trying to over the top Jim Carrey in his performance of Two-Face. I don't know what his reference was of why he was the way that he acted Two-Face. It was just, I think he was just trying to match Jim Carrey's energy, which Tommy Lee Jones, awesome actor. I would say, I don't think a lot of people argue with me, say that he's a much better actor than Jim Carrey. Tommy Lee Jones is an Oscar winner.
To come off of The Fugitive, the year before,
yeah,
to go right into
his
this,
Oscar winning performance.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people were just baffled by his acting choice. Now that could have been just what the director wanted him to do. I think Joe Schumacher, even if I remember correctly, like he didn't even know kind of what Tommy Lee was doing with it.
Mm-hmm.
He just trusted the Oscar winner with what took place, and it just came off as far lesser than Jim Carrey in the sense that he just couldn't match that energy.
Well, I'm not a comic book nerd, so I'm not familiar with the Harvey Dent Two-Face character in terms of the comics. I don't know what his vibe is.
Right.
But I just know when I saw the movie, it was disjointed for me to see it. It was jarring to see. I didn't like it at all.
Yeah. It was just, again, I think it was a casting choice, but part it was definitely don't it wasn't a great movie. Let's just make it like that. Like he had to do what he had to do with whatever script that he was given, but I just think that was just a terrible casting choice to put him in that role, and I don't know if anybody else could do a great job next to someone like Jim Carrey the way that he was going off in that movie, but maybe a more serious, more sinister villain would have been a nice dichotomy, opposite to what Jim Carrey was doing, and someone that you could really feel threatened by. And instead, it was like Jim Carrey and someone trying to match Jim Carrey in craziness, and it didn't work.
Yeah. I feel like even to have him play it more diabolical and sadistic, twisted, Jim Carrey was too dialed up.
Yeah.
To where I don't think you could balance that out. I don't care what Tommy Lee Jones could have done to be like Tommy Lee Jones. We're used to him being serious, doesn't smile, doesn't do humor. I don't think it would have been enough to counterbalance the humor that Jim Carrey brought to the role.
I agree.
Now, everybody knows that saw this movie, the best thing about this movie was the Seal song, "Kiss from a Rose." That's the best thing about this.
Yeah, and I'm not mad at Val Kilmer either. I think Val Kilmer, it was an okay choice. Like it wasn't Keaton, and everybody was disappointed it wasn't Keaton. But based on what we saw afterwards, and kind of what we've had since, Val Kilmer wasn't a terrible choice. Like I'm not mad at that movie for Val Kilmer, but it's just the fact that they had to go with a much lighter tone, which I feel like they kind of needed to, because it's about selling toys. Like McDonald's went all in on their toy sales for Batman Returns, and it was, or Batman, yeah, it was Batman.
The sequel.
The sequel to Batman.
Right.
The Penguin one with Danny DeVito and the
Yep.
Catwoman. It was so dark. It was so dark that McDonald's regretted putting all that money into the toys because they thought it was a kid's film. And then the director, Tim Burton gave him basically a kind of more of a horrific, non-kids movie.
Yeah.
And McDonald's was trying to sell that so hard to kids. And to the fact that even, I watched it, parents were upset because they were like, my kids want to see this movie. They're getting the toys at McDonald's, and they guess every time I go by the movie theater, they want to go see Batman Returns. But it's such a horrible film for children. And so that was the tonal shift. That was the spark for the tonal shift of what Schumacher brought in the Val Kilmer thing, to make it a little bit more toy friendly and I guess kid friendly in a lot of ways. Although it's still fraught with violence and it still has dark imagery, and it's just not as dark in tone of what Tim Burton brings and has brought and probably will continue to bring in all of his films.
Right.
That's a whole other case. We're talking about Tommy Lee Jones here. That was just a terrible choice.
Bad, very bad. Just off the Oscar, you could have done so much better.
Yeah. So case number one, not the last Oscar winner on this list, Mike. So more to come.
Okay. That's a good start off. So for me, I'm a huge Seinfeld fan. I'm a huge fan of the lesser known sitcom after that, which is Great Adventures of Old Christine. New Adventures of Old Christine.
New Adventures.
Yeah,
That's right.
and then of course Veep is its own thing, which I love. Veep was, to me, that was peak Julia Louis
I
Dreyfus.
think she won an Emmy for each role in every one.
Every year that show was on, she was nominated. I think she cleaned up.
Oh no, I think she won
Yeah.
for Seinfeld or for
New Adventures of Old Christine.
and
Yeah.
for I think she won for all
Yeah.
all of them. Like first one to ever do that for 3 different.
And I think to me, in terms of the business, she's the most successful because she's had 3, to me, hit shows.
Yeah.
Even though Seinfeld was ensemble,
Yeah.
New Adventures of Old Christine was really hers, but Wanda Sykes was like the sidekick.
Oh yeah, it really took off.
Yeah, and then Veep, to me, that was like her vehicle.
That's
that was
her.
all about her. It doesn't work without her. But she's sorely miscast in the MCU as Allegra De Fontaine. From the moment that she jumps on screen and it's Falcon and Winter Soldier, the TV show, I hated her in it. She didn't fit to me. Like, she's one of those people that's just synonymous with the Elaine character. Whenever I see her, you just are gonna think Elaine. Of course, I'm a big Seinfeld fan, so that's what I think. It's like now if you see Robert Downey Jr., it's synonymous with Tony Stark, Iron Man. So the fact that he's now been cast as Doctor Doom, I'm not having good vibes from that casting. So maybe we can do, when that movie comes out, we can do a part 2 of this list.
Oh, we're gonna have a lot of talk about that, I'm sure.
But yeah, no, just for this list, I don't think she fits the vibe of MCU, which I guess it's kind of hard to put a pulse on what the vibe of the MCU is now moving forward.
Yeah, so yeah. After Endgame, it's become so scattered.
But
Scatterbrained
anything
a bit.
she's been in, tonally, it's been serious, dramatic, dark, edgy. But then when she comes in, her character doesn't really fit that tone. So to me, it's a miscasting because it's almost like an amalgamation of all the characters she's played on TV, and she's putting all those 3 characters into this character. So there's a little bit of comedy there. When she tries to be serious in the serious moment, it doesn't really work.
But I think there's a sarcasm that she comes across with.
That's what doesn't work for me, though.
Okay, that doesn't
Yeah.
work for me. I think that it works for me because it's snarky. I think she can pull off snarky. Powerful, I'm not sure. Now, wasn't she in Wakanda Forever?
Yeah,
for a
same
bit.
Same character.
Right,
Yeah.
and she was okay. Because I wanted to save you a bit. Because Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that is a TV show. That's not a movie. So we're talking movies, right? So, but she has appeared as that character in Wakanda Forever, and at the end of the Scarlett Johansson Scarlet Witch
post-credit scene of Black Widow.
Black Widow. That's
Yeah.
right. So, and she's going to be in the
Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts is
Next
coming
year.
up. So yeah,
Yes.
so a recurring character has appeared in Marvel movies. So she is I get it. I mean, actually, the first time I saw her too, it was a bit of a shock. Like, wait a minute, that's okay. This is different. But I give a lot of credit, upfront credit, to some of these casting choices because some of the times that they've done that, it's really been a good thing. Like, it's been surprising how good they are. Like, they become so synonymous with it afterwards. Michael Keaton being a great example. Like, he was a comedic actor on the fringe of becoming a more dramatic actor with I think Clean and Sober there too. There's more a dramatic one, but he was really known as a comedic actor, and to be the one who went for Batman. People were really skeptical of that. Heath Ledger going in for Joker. People were like, how is he going to be Joker?
Yeah, but see, these names, you're proving my point. To me,
Right.
like, these are people were skeptical of, and it worked.
Yes.
With what we've seen so far with
You just don't
this,
feel like it worked.
I don't think it's... Now, maybe we'll get more in Thunderbolts, but
Yeah.
I think the version of the character we've been introduced to is what we're going to get moving forward.
You don't think it's going to grow any?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll see. No matter, she's in it, so and we're going to watch that movie probably.
Oh,
right?
100%.
So it's not because she's in it, but okay.
It'll never be on any of my lists, but I'm going to go see.
I got you. Okay, so I think we disagreed a little bit about that. I say that I want to see more, and I just don't think we've seen enough of her to really. But we know she has the chops. Like, we know that she has the acting chops. I just don't know if she has the more serious end of the acting chops. But she's definitely got the comedic part of it down. I think we can all agree about this one. All right, this movie I've seen this on many people's lists, and when I went through my Voodoo, now it's not even Voodoo, it's called Fandango at home. When I went through my movie list, this movie popped up at me, and I was like, her. Yes, she should have never been in this movie. How they ever cast her in this movie, is a travesty, and it should be stricken from the record. As soon as CG is capable, they should replace her in this movie, because while she meets the physical specifications of a Bond woman, she does not fit the title, and she should have never been in this role. And that's the role of Dr. Christmas Jones, a nuclear physicist played by Denise Richards in the 1999 James Bond movie, The World Is Not Enough. Dude, what? This is basically like, she's kind of like I think a swimsuit model type person, but she'd been in other things, but she's way too beautiful. She was just way too beautiful, and scantily dressed, and those to be a nuclear physicist. It didn't make zero sense to anybody watching.
I had a comment. I'm not gonna make it on here.
And Christmas Jones. I mean, I know they always have these silly names, but Christmas Jones, only so they could say at the end of the movie, I only thought Christmas came once a year.
Yeah.
That is insane.
It's bad. It's really bad.
It is insane. And yeah, it's just the worst of the Pierce Brosnan Bond movies, I kind of feel.
I got one on here for you.
Okay, well, maybe. All right, there's arguments to be made.
For sure.
There's arguments to be made.
For sure.
But her presence is definitely a damning factor, and this one might be considered the worst.
Just because of her job title in the movie, or is it because it's her?
I mean, it is part. I think it's just because it's not a good fit. Like, it shouldn't be.
You're so upset. Look at you.
I am. This
It's
is
making
why.
me laugh.
I don't understand what they saw from her. They thought she could be this. This was her. Like, you look at her and she doesn't fit that just mold. And maybe she can. She's if she was such a great actress, she could like portray, like, maybe, tone down those things that I'm talking about that look like a typical Bond girl. Like, she could tone down, I guess her attractiveness is the word I'm looking for. But she just didn't have the acting chops to do that. Like, it was let's cast the hot girl in the moment and make her the nuclear physicist. It's so insane. All right.
Maybe they were just trying to figure out how to transition from the old stereotype of a Bond girl into the new iteration of what that could be. So let's still make her attractive, but give her a respectable job. Instead of just eye candy, let's give her an important job.
She just wasn't believable in the job. Like, the acting performance itself, she wasn't able to overcome what she's clear. Like, they didn't even attempt to tone down the physical attraction. Like, one of the first times we see her, she's stripping off one of those nuclear suit things.
I remember that.
And to reveal her body. And it's like, come on, dude.
Okay.
Come on, dude. It was just way over the top. It was almost as if it was cast by the guys that used to do the Bud Light commercials in the 80s. Like, they just scantily canned women and beer, and that's all they wanted to show. And whoever casted that did the same. I don't know.
This is like this feels like a personal attack. Like, you're really upset. I can tell.
Yeah, because it ruined a Bond film. I mean, it's not that. It wasn't the only thing in there, but it was like, we're already on this kind of unbelievable train. Why do we got to keep riding it right off the rails? And that casting was just like, what are we? Oh my gosh! And she's talking about plutonium. You know what I mean? Okay.
Okay, well, now that we've offended all the women listeners,
No,
let's go ahead and
an
move
offense.
on.
No way that was offense. No, I mean, to her maybe, but like, no, it's just like, I would love. You know what? I would have. I could see a Kate Winslet in there. I could see I could see so many different Kate Blanchett. I could see in that role. I could see so many different more credible actresses play a nuclear physicist that I would have a sense of belief that she could be a nuclear physicist.
Should just give her a different job title. Maybe that would have been better for you.
Yeah, Bond girl. I don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, Halle Berry as a American spy.
Spoiler on my list, bro.
Halle Berry. I'm just referencing. I didn't know it was on your list.
No, go ahead. Might as well go ahead and take it now.
Halle Berry as an American spy. Okay, yeah, okay, unbelievable. She's a good enough actress. I say, okay, I can bypass that. I didn't think Denise Richards was.
Well, since you've already said her name, I'm just gonna go ahead and jump right into that.
Good Lord.
That was the last name on my list. We'll go move it up to number 2. This is Halle Berry in Die Another Day, another James Bond film, another movie where
Is this the one Madonna is in?
or she has like the title song.
Yes,
Die Another
it is.
Day. Yeah.
I still like. Ooh.
No, I hated that movie. I hated the movie, and I didn't like Halle Berry in it. And for me, I guess it's maybe more.
You think the World Is Not Enough is a better movie than that?
Honestly, I haven't seen it but once, and it was around the time it came out, so
Okay.
I don't have a point of reference to compare.
I got you.
But I hated Die Another Day. I wasn't as big a fan as the Pierce Brosnan Bonds to begin with. Let me just put that out there.
GoldenEye is
I
classic.
heard it's elite. It's peak Bond for sure. But to me, that's is that Sean Bean is the villain?
Yes.
Oh, that's the best. That's the best Pierce Brosnan Bond for sure. But for Die Another Day, Halle Berry, I watched it because it was a Bond movie. My mom's a huge Bond fan, right? So that's why I watched it. And when I saw she was in it, I was like, okay, I know what this is. Boomerang and Raising Isaiah. Those are classic Halle Berry movies from the early 90s. So now we fast forward, 7, 8 years later, and we get her in this, and they make it this American Spy, and they make her almost like almost Pam Grierish, like coffee Pam Grier. What was that movie she was in, a Tarantino movie with
Jackie Brown.
Jackie Brown-esque in a way, but a spy.
Okay.
So she was almost like a toned down discount version of a blaxploitation
Hey.
African American female.
Halle Berry is not discount anything.
No,
first
no.
of all,
Hey, I'm doing this. Yeah, I'm doing this. You can't tell me what I can't do.
I just don't disrespect the Queen.
Because there's even a scene where she's like strapped to the table, and the villain is like threatening her, and her comeback is "Yo mama." Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, that's true.
The phrase "Yo mama" doesn't belong in any Bond movie. I don't care. For her to sit there and say that line and think that's okay to say, nah, you're a miscast.
That belongs in with Beyonce and Goldmember.
You
not
know,
in this
thank
one.
you. You know who wouldn't say that line? Angela Bassett wouldn't say that line. Wouldn't say it.
Angela Bassett would be a great nuclear physicist.
I agree. There you go. We just fixed the whole
We fixed it.
the whole James Bond pantheon.
Angela
We fixed it. We should just stop while we're ahead. All right, thanks for tuning in, guys.
Thank you for listening.
But no, that's it. So we did Denise Richards, Halle Berry. We just knocked those two off the board. We're done. Let's have some more fun, please.
Let's do it. All right. This is a character that in the book physically was way different than what this actor portrayed it to be. Just physically.
I already know
It's
what
just.
this is.
I think a lot of people know what this is already. Like physically, this man does not meet the physical qualifications to be this character based on what the book says. But as we know, Hollywood likes to change things that are from other source material like books or comic books and to make them fit. And sometimes, a lot of times, it works. It's better. Like what the book is portraying is not realistic, or is not filmable, or doesn't work on camera as well, or they just can't recreate it that way. So they do what's right for the camera, or they try to anyway. And in this particular case, the star power is way bigger than the character. So you go with Tom Cruise because Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise.
He's gonna get people to go see it, show up.
They're going to go see it, and that's the name of the game in the movie business, people to show up. So despite the fact that Jack Reacher in the books is this massive mountain of a man, then you get like a 5'7" Tom Cruise to come in.
You're being a little liberal with his height. I think he's more like 5'4", 5'5".
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, dude, really? Dude, I don't want to believe that, because if I ever do meet him in person, I'm going to be so disappointed. I'll be like, you're
looking at
so
somebody
small.
5'4". Disappointed when you talk to me then? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not, because like I said, I've talked to you before about this. I didn't realize that we were that different in height.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, we're the same. I don't see you different from me, but I don't see you on the big screen for 40
It's
years.
because my personality helped me reach new heights. You see what I did there?
Yes, I got you. No, but I didn't. I've never seen you as that.
Yeah.
Never, dude. Until you mentioned it, it never even. My friend's, this height. I've never told
But
anybody that.
you're not
either.
the only person I know that says that. When I tell them my height, it's like hearing the number, then they say, "Oh wait, really? You don't seem like it." They all say the same thing.
No, yeah. So I think we're all right, and you're wrong.
You just flipped. You reversed it on me. That's
No,
crazy.
it's just that Tom Hanks on screen is 7'10",
Well, he's bigger than life,
and
and the screen is 50 feet in the air. So
if I ever had to meet him and he was like 5, however you think he's 40,
you'll be looking down on Tom Cruise for sure. You would.
Jeez Louise, dude. Okay, that would just be like, you're shrunken. That's like, did you see in Deadpool and Wolverine where the actual comic book sized Wolverine jumps off the stool? That's how that would be, except it
true.
would be Tom Cruise.
It'll be Tom Cruise. You're right.
Insane. Anyway, if you haven't guessed, this is top 10 worst casting choices. Tom Cruise as Jack Reacher from both films, the 2012 film Jack Reacher and the 2016 film Jack Reacher Never Go Back. So He's portrayed this character twice, and really, honestly, I like both movies. I'm a Tom Cruise fan. I'm an action fan. It works together for me, and I like the mystery of it. I'm a person who's a fan of television procedurals. I've seen every episode. Well, not every episode anymore, but like the first 20 seasons of NCIS, I've watched them all. Right? I like procedurals, dude. I'm on this podcast for a reason. I like procedurals, right? So this is right down my alley. And I didn't bump up against him being different from the book character until I watched the Reacher series on Amazon. And when I saw Alan Ritchson do the character, it just changed my whole thought process about that. And I thought, no, this is what it should have been the entire time. So my casting choice was fine at first until I saw it done better and done more correct to the book. And now I can't think of Reacher anyway. If Tom Cruise comes out with another Reacher movie, I don't know that I'm seeing it. That's how much I really feel like the character should be this other. They just screwed up on the casting choice. Even though it is Tom Cruise, the physicalness of what Reacher brings, I get now seeing this, the reaction to this massive man. Like it's just so different. The way people approach him, like if you had two separate characters, one was smaller and one was big, and they're both supposed to intimidate. How they intimidate is totally different.
It is,
and that changes every aspect of every interaction they ever had. Like when women see Tom Cruise, they probably react one way, and when they see Ritchson, they react a total different way. It's just a different size. Men too. If you're going to try and pick a fight with one of those two men, who are you picking a fight with? You ain't picking a fight with the mountain. And the whole key to that character is he's big. He's physically menacing. He's intimidating physically. But the key to that character is his intellect. You're surprised that he's such a good investigator, that he's so intellectual, that he's so cultured for as big and as meatheady that he looks, right? But Tom Cruise, on the other hand, he has to have those things in order to achieve what Alan Ritchson achieves in simple visual look at the guy. He achieves that, and where Tom Cruise he's got to be skilled at hand to hand and know all these, like he's got to outwit people from the very beginning instead of just being this physical presence. Way different characters now in my mind. There's no way that you would ever cast Tom Cruise after seeing what this guy did. So, Jack Reacher, an easy one. Okay. I'm very passionate about this. I didn't know it was going to be this passionate.
I just want to say it's almost like witnessing the verbal Olympic fourth quarter Steph Curry in the gold game.
Shaking my shoulders.
So maybe I'll just let you do my list, and you can do my list as well, because
I'm putting Tom Cruise to sleep.
I'm not bringing it. You got so. Let's just move forward.
I just arched it over a superstar,
I want to apologize,
folks.
But the energy I have is not going to match yours. So.
All right. I doesn't feel as passionately about it, I guess.
But I respect it. I like it.
All right, correct. Bring in my game. Game. Let's go.
This is my B game.
No.
Today it's like professional. You're professional.
No. You're good.
And I'm G League Mike today.
No. Let's go. Come on, let's go. Let's just get it going.
Okay, so for my next name on the list,
okay,
I've only seen this movie once, and it wasn't even all the way through. I just didn't like it. I had to shut it off.
Oh my gosh.
Caught it on TV.
Okay.
Yeah, it just didn't work for me because I'd seen the original. The original is one of the most beloved entries in the franchise of all time.
Tough to remake.
Also a part of the 80s zeitgeist where you had these movies that were larger than life. They're going to stand the test of time. Then you put the sequel out and you put Danny Glover in it, and it just does not work. The whole setting is different. The vibe is different. I didn't like it. It was dark. It was dreary. I was like, what is this? Why did you choose to be in this movie? Who kidnapped your wife and made you take this role? This is Danny Glover in Predator 2. Yeah.
Okay, I thought that's what you were...
Yeah, hated it. Hated everything about it.
Really?
I didn't like it.
Wait, no, this wasn't a remake. This was a continuation.
To the Arnold Schwarzenegger 80s movie.
Right.
How do we go from this amazing in the Amazon killing these special forces soldiers, so now we have this one street cop
Well, it's like Jurassic Park. You take the dinosaurs out of the park. Now you put them on in the United.
And I hated that too.
Yeah,
So you see, that's what I'm saying. In that movie, the dinosaurs were miscast.
Oh gosh.
Dinosaurs shouldn't be in the city.
So this is Danny Glover was miscast. You don't think it should have been?
I don't think so. To me, the movie should have been made. Whoever's idea this was, let's just not.
You feel different if Mel Gibson is with him. And this is a Lethal Weapon
Okay,
versus
now
Predator.
we're doing a mashup, which they've already heard that episode as well. We're not doing.
Well, I think we have a missed opportunity here.
If it's Lethal Weapon meets Predator, I'll watch that.
Yeah, Mel Gibson doing the whole like Three Stooges with the Predator. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay, you just ruined it. No, never mind. I killed the idea. No, this movie.
Never make it in Hollywood now.
This movie shouldn't work. To me, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
This is one of the entries in the franchise, pretty much like all the others, that people just disown for a very good reason. This is not a good movie.
People don't talk about this.
People don't talk about this movie. No, not at all.
I know. I don't. I remember seeing it. I thought it all, and it's not one that I've revisited. But I didn't. I thought it was just okay.
No, when I see it on TV, I get upset.
Gee.
Yeah.
Okay. See, this is what we're talking about.
Blood pressure's going up.
Christmas Jones here. We're talking Christmas Jones.
We're not comparing Denny. Wait, what's his name? Oh,
Danny Glover.
To Denise Richards.
I was about to ask. Do you mean Donald Glover? Because I felt like you were saying it was more modern times. He was like, was it Donald Glover? No, Danny.
He could play a young Danny Glover in a movie, I guess.
No, because the names are just too close, dude. Too close. It's like across the multiverse, around the multiverse, or Can Never Go Home, or Please Go Home, or Homecoming. So dumb. Why so much so close? The names are so close.
They should definitely make a movie called Can't Ever Go Home. I don't know why that's so.
All right, so speaking of Spider-Man, this one is a Spider-Man classic, Spider-Man 3 from 2007, and the actor's name is Topher Grace, and he should have never been Eddie Brock / Venom. He was just, I mean, come on, dude. First of all, Eddie Brock, I know that they were trying to make Topher Grace has a similar build to Tobey Maguire, so they kind of have an equal thing there. But Venom is a massive villain, always been portrayed as a massive guy. Eddie Brock in the comic books was always more of a muscular up guy, and they should have just kept with that so it could have been a big Alan Ritson type fellow. Adding on Venom onto that would just look huge and menacing, and he is huge and menacing in the comic books. And Topher Grace coming off that 70s show, he's a quirky comedic actor. He's not a serious, I don't consider him to be a very serious actor. He's always been very comedic. He's always got that little twinge of sarcasm, and it works for a lot of the roles that he's in and the movies that he's in. I don't think it worked in this. He played this evil, snarky, not evil in the sense that I'm trying to get over on you kind of guy is really what he was. Trying to step on people to get up to where he wants to be, particularly step on Peter Parker. And it is fun to see get his come-ups for being, as bad as he is. It's good to see the good guy win over him without the suits. And then him in the suit, like, I forgot that it was even Topher Grace. Like, okay, it's Venom now. We don't have to worry about the Topher Grace part. The Topher Grace part was the worst part of that whole Venom part to me. And part of the reason why Spider-Man 3 is considered the worst, maybe Spider-Man movie ever. Maybe.
It's fair.
So yeah, So at least of the original trio, it's the least for sure. So Topher Grace, I think, just entirely miscast. Again, Hollywood falls into this trap of let's put in the hottest actor or one of the hot actors into this role to try and garner more eyes to it, despite the fact that he doesn't fit the mold of what the character was in the comics, because we're going to do something different from the comics. But I just don't think Topher Grace had the acting ability or chops to really, to do the role. And on top of likely the director or the producers not actually getting him to bulk up to be what he needed to be. Like, he needed to be physically, he needed to transform his body more to become more intimidating, and he just didn't. It wasn't good.
It wasn't good. Nice
neat
little way to end it. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see this list of movies and these names.
It's all predators.
It's not all predators, and that could go a different way too. Let's not.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
let's
no,
not
I
say
meant like
that.
the movie, the aliens. Oh, no, Lord.
Yes, for me, I don't even really know how to segue into this one.
Don't take away. Let's just go right in.
This is Kristen Stewart and Snow White and the Huntsman, which I don't think anybody saw but me.
No, I saw it.
Oh, you saw this too? Okay.
I actually was down with the movie. I'll let you argue that part.
Okay, no, well, there's nothing to argue. Like, for me, they're obviously trying to piggyback off of the success of the Twilight franchise.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is 2010. So Twilight parts 1 and 2, I think it already come out. And then I think we don't even get Thor 1 yet. This is a year before Thor, I believe.
No, it was
Or the same year then.
right after. I thought it was after Thor.
Okay.
I think right after Thor.
Okay, so then that's the same year.
I guess right
2010.
after. I think it was the next thing he did.
Yeah, but this movie doesn't really work again. It's like Predator 2. For me, this doesn't really work on a lot of levels.
Yeah.
And I even kind of question sometimes when I think about this movie why I went to go see it. Because I'm not a big Kristen Stewart fan. I like her as a person more than I do in her movies. Like, I've watched a bunch of her interviews, and I love, like, so she's self-proclaimed that she has anxiety. And when you watch in her interviews, you can tell. And for years during the whole Twilight fandom, when she would go on interviews, people just judged her for being weird or quirky in interviews. And then later on it came out it's because she has anxiety. Well, having that information, then going back and watching all of her interviews throughout her career, like, she has a great personality for someone who has anxiety. She's outgoing in her own way, and you can tell she lets her guard down to some degree, but she still is very closed off. And as somebody who I think kind of has a little bit of that myself, I kind of relate to her. So maybe that's what it is. So she just seems like a really cool person to hang with. I think she's a good hang. But then in her movies, I'm not so much a fan of her movies. We talked about how much I hate Twilight. Again, harkening back to our mashup episode, I've got a Blade and Underworld and Twilight mashup, so they can just kill all those characters off.
Well, let's preface. Well, let's just. I'm gonna just wrap that up in a bow a little bit. The reason why you hate Twilight because you went into it.
I was tricked.
You were tricked. Yeah, you were thinking it was going to be vampires and wolves or werewolves fighting each other, which you're always down for. That's your jam.
Yeah, like gory
Underworld.
throats
Yes.
being torn out,
That's his jam.
sliced up.
And it was a romance.
Exactly.
It was a teen romance.
Yeah.
Perfectly honest.
Yeah, I hated it. It was like they MTV'd the whole thing for me. I didn't like it.
You mean the first time that the male
Robert Pattinson?
yeah, when he came on screen, your breath didn't just like that, just kind of like. Whew.
Yeah, it did because I was choking myself trying to pick something. So yeah, actually it did. It's not for the same reason as everybody else. But yeah, no, just coming back full circle to Kristen Stewart in this movie, she's supposed to be Snow White. The version of Snow White just didn't work for me.
I got you.
They could have got anybody else, and I felt like she was a little too young for Chris Hemsworth. He just had this beard, and he's a big, tall guy.
Burly guy, by the way.
Burly guy. And then Kristen Stewart just looks really small, frail. She still looked like she was 13 in this movie. So it was just weird to see the two of them, and they're supposed to be Snow White and the Huntsman as this romantic relationship. It's just weird for me.
Okay. And I think I don't remember her in the movie. Honestly.
Also, this is what I'm saying.
So I don't even remember. I mean, you could have told me that she wasn't in that movie with somebody else, and I would have believed it.
This is also the movie where
towards that.
She cheats on Robert Pattinson with the director of this movie.
Oh goodness, off film.
Yeah, so maybe it's personal too for me.
Yeah, a little bit. Maybe, who knows? Okay, so mine. I think it's gonna be a little bit controversial.
I love controversy. Let's go.
I mean, a little bit.
Coming from you, not from Mulley. Oh wow, this is again we're breaking new ground here, folks. Let's go.
No, because this is a classic movie. I love this movie. This particular actress is just the worst part of the movie for me, and I can't. The problem is I can't articulate why.
Okay.
There's something about it. I just don't like her in the role, and I know that I need to. This is a podcast. I need to be able to articulate why I think someone isn't good for the role. But this is Demi Moore as Lieutenant Commander Joanne Galloway in the movie A Few Good Men from 1992. Like, that movie for me is pitch perfect. I love everything about that movie except for her. Like, I don't understand. All right, first of all, her age and I know that they kind of try to set up her and Tom Cruise, and she was clearly older than he was. He was really young in this movie. But but there's a little bit of a disconnect there. Like honestly, I felt like she wasn't attracted to him. It was a weird thing. That was like, I don't know what was going on with her. What was going on behind the scenes? She's all about. She's a know-it-all who really screws up in court at one point, like a know-it-all shouldn't do. She takes a giant misstep. I feel no empathy for her character at all. Like I don't, like they don't build, they don't like make her arc or anything. Like she has this one little bump where she screws up, and then all she does is, "Man, I screwed up," you know. But we're gonna get back in there and get going. And to me, it's just a blank slate of it. But one that I every time I see her, it's kind of like the thorn in what is a perfect rose that is just killing it, man. I just can't, for some reason, get over this thought that it should have been someone else. Like, it would have been better as someone else. Someone else could have played that role better. And look, she goes on to do G.I. Jane and gets a lot of acclaim for playing a military role. I don't have a problem with a lot of the other things I've ever seen her in. It's just in this particular case, sometimes I'm just not getting what her motivations are, why she's making the choices that she is as an actress. And then I don't understand what she wants sometimes. And maybe that just every relationship I've ever had, but it's just I think a miscasting to me. But you obviously disagree, right?
I disagree, but listening to you, kind of flesh out your reasoning like live on the spot, I thought that was props to you for that.
Oh, thanks.
But I think it's maybe it's two things. I think one, because some of what you said, I think it could be the script, the writing.
Yeah.
Because you talk about her motivations. That's not on the actor to really give you. That's the writer. And then two, I think maybe on her, maybe not asking those questions of the writer, of the director. Hey, what are this character's motivations? Why is she making this mistake? And just bouncing back so quickly when this is a pivotal moment. Maybe she doesn't push back enough.
Yeah, and maybe she's young, and maybe she doesn't. She's young as an actor or an actress, and it could be. I just know at the end of the day, that is a pitch perfect movie. Jack Nicholson's awesome in that. Tom Cruise is awesome. Kevin Pollak.
Kevin Pollak, yeah.
Kevin Bacon. No, Kevin Bacon's in it too. The judge in that movie.
Kiefer Sutherland.
Like the two privates in there. They are all pitch perfect, and it's her. And I know she's like, I think she's thinking about it. She's maybe the only female
in the movie. You're right.
In the movie, which is a travesty,
It is.
But obviously, maybe even a mirror of those times. There just might not have been a lot of women in those roles, but military wise. But man, every time I see her, I just think another actress could have been better there. I've listed a bunch of actresses. I don't know who would have worked better, like off the cuff necessarily, but anyone, maybe.
You know what? This is 93.
Let me see.
I believe it's 93.
92.
92, okay. So this is before When Harry Met Sally. Let's put Meg Ryan in there.
Oof. Yeah, maybe.
They've already teamed up in Top Gun before. Now, she was in that other movie.
Yeah.
With Denzel Washington and Matt Damon. I can't think of the name of the movie now. I should know that. I just saw it. Courage Under Fire.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's around the same time.
She's amazing in that.
Yeah, she is.
Oh jeez.
The whole movie's really about her character and her decisions she makes in a pivotal moment. I think she probably would give her darker hair, take away the blonde hair. I think she probably fits better than Demi Moore does.
I can see it.
Or you know what? Let's give a young Charlize Theron a shot in that role.
Oh my gosh.
I think she would actually smoke that role for sure.
Yeah.
Because I kind of see your point. Like when I think about that, that's one of the closest things to perfection in a movie I think I've ever seen is that movie.
My gosh, it's so good.
There is something about her character, and when she makes that pivotal mistake that gets really Tom Cruise looks like an idiot when he is
it's opposite of her character. She's so buttoned up, and she has to know everything because everybody's against her. This whole military's working against her. She's got to get it right, and she really flubs up, and it's just like, okay, I know I screw up,
But that's what kicks off the third act. So that's put in there to kickstart. But I think it's such an abrupt departure from her character. That,
right. She crosses all of her T's, dots all of
Yep.
her I's, and suddenly she didn't ask that one question that even Tom Cruise like, a rookie would know how to do, kind of a thing. Anyway, but it's not just about that particular thing. It's just the feel of that. She just doesn't ever feel right to me. Maybe there's a sultry thing to her more, and a sultry thing might not have really fit into the role of what they were doing. I could see that as an older woman. I could see that as a young cadet, as young as Tom Cruise.
Older woman.
All of that.
I thought Susan Sarandon.
Could have been.
Or what's Rene Russo?
Could have been.
Yeah.
Like I mean, there's 1,000 options that may have been better. I mean, we can say may all day, but for what it is what it is. It's still a great movie. I think a lot of people can still get past it anymore. I even myself was like, I don't know, should I put it on the list?
I mean, at the end of the day,
it really bothers me.
We both still agree, despite her performance or her decisions, her motives. We both still agree this is an amazing movie.
It is. It's just that every time that she does, there's some scenes in there with her. It's like, oh.
And it's like you said, it's like well, are we supposed to look at them this way? Are we supposed to not look at them this way?
Yeah, they only teased it, which is good. I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't push that. All right. Next.
Man, I'd actually like to end it there. That was great. That was a great
really?
breakdown. This almost starting to feel like the episode is going to be more us getting into our filmmaking bag. 'Cause we're talking more about other elements outside of just performances.
Yeah.
We're talking about script. We're talking about motivations. We're talking about recasting other people.
We're getting into our bag.
We are, man.
We're getting into our
I'm
bag.
loving this. 2.5-hour episode. No, I'm kidding. We're not doing that.
Oh, you guys want a 3-hour episode, 2-parter?
They all just shut off. They all just
Yeah, I
turned it
know.
off.
It's like, dude, I just have a 30-minute commute. I can only listen to you for 30 minutes.
Okay, that was great. I love that one. Number 4 for me on the list. Mm-hmm. This is, and I think he's a decent actor. Some of the other things that I've seen him in, he's serviceable, which I think is just a level under decent. Serviceable.
Okay.
They fit what they need. We need the character to be to push the plot forward and the story forward. And there's a level of, believability, relatability there.
This is 5-time Oscar winner who?
So he has not won the
Serviceable?
Oscars, no.
Serviceable?
And we're talking specifically about a series of movies. Episodes or movies
Oh my gosh.
6 through 10.
What?
This is Fast and Furious franchise.
Yes. Had to be 6 through 10.
Yeah. This is Ludacris.
Oh my gosh. You
Now-
can't stand Ludacris?
Now, if you watch Too Fast and Furious,
Yeah, that's
he's
one of my
believable.
favorites.
Yeah,
I love
he's
that movie.
believable in that role he plays in that. It fits.
Okay.
And then even when they bring
King
him,
of Miami.
yeah,
that's what he
basically,
plays.
yeah. But in Fast 5, they bring everybody back. It's like the Avengers of this franchise.
Yeah.
He fits that, even though his character is very different from what we thought him to be.
What is his character? Like, what is his skill set?
So in Fast 5, he's like this techie. He knows what type of vault this is. But in Too Fast and Furious, he's like the race organizer, and he runs the streets. He knows all about street. He has a
right.
body shop.
Yeah, but he didn't work on the car. Like, he gets a guy that works on his cars.
Yeah, he owns the shop.
He's
but,
the shop.
but he organized anything that, I think he even says it in the movie, anything that you can gamble on, I organized it.
I think that he used to be a former racer too, right?
And I think he got messed up. He messed up his leg.
Yeah,
He
that's
gave
right.
it up.
That's right.
So we go from that in 2003 to 2010 in Fast 5, 2011, I believe. Now he's this tech guy, and he knows what kind of vault this is just by looking at it from a camera
That
on a
is
little
true.
remote control car,
Good, man.
and he has all the tech and all this and that.
And he's an astronaut at one point, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Am I right about that? Yeah.
So even in that, in part 5, it's what we're given, it's believable. When I'm looking at the same character from part 2 to part 5, it's a different character to me, but with what we're given, his acting is decent. 6 through 10, I don't know what's going on with his acting, but it gets progressively worse. It's like you're not even trying to deliver your lines with any kind of emotion or what's happening in the scene. It's just you're reading the lines. And I mean, you can say that for Michelle Rodriguez too, but she's
There's
not.
a lot of
honestly-
characters in that film that
There
you could
are.
probably say that about.
There are, but for some reason he stands
Stands
out.
out to you. Yeah, like every time I see it, I'm like, hey, there's Ludacris. And then you just keep going with the movie.
And that's the thing. Whenever you see him, you say, "Oh, that's Ludacris." You don't
Right.
think, "Oh, that's Tej," because his name is Tej Parker in the movie.
I didn't even
I
know
don't see that's Tej. You see,
I don't even know that. That's Ludacris.
I know
That's
names
Ludacris.
and I know the year a movie came out. That's
There you
that's
go.
where my expertise stops. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
6 through 10,
Dude,
it's worse.
You can't argue about that. That's, yeah. I'm not sure. Would anybody else, though, be, it would be just a filler role, really, right? It would
Oh
be,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it could be Eminem. I mean,
He's on my list.
Oh wow! Okay,
He's
Ooh.
actually next. So,
Oh, well, let's go ahead. Give it to me.
yeah, Eminem and 8 Mile. It's the only thing he's ever acted in
No, that's not true. Because he was. Well, he might. It may be.
that I
More of
that
a-
I'm know of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It might have been more of a cameo, but he was in that. I think it was Adam Sandler. It was an Adam Sandler movie where he was dealing with some.
Oh,
He was going to die.
I think you're right.
He had an illness.
yeah. Oh, you talking about Click?
No. This is one. Oh golly! He's a comedian who's I think it's
He's diagnosed with a terminal illness,
terminal
right?
illness.
And Eminem is in that.
He talks to Eminem. He sits
does.
down and have a conversation
They do.
about
I've seen that clip on YouTube a few times. You're right. My bad.
Yeah. No worries. You No, you hadn't seen the movie, so that's no big deal.
Well, no, and this is just 8 Mile.
Okay. Please
Okay.
continue. I don't want to.
No, when this movie first
Argue.
came out, I caught it. So I was going to school at the University of Houston. I was living on campus, and they gave all the students that lived on campus like access to a million cable channels. We had 5 different music channels that
Dang.
played videos 24/7, and then they gave us a few movie channels as well. Like these are movies that hadn't been out of theaters more than a couple of months. This is back when movies stayed in the theaters a lot longer than they do now.
Did they actually teach classes, or did they just let y'all watch cable?
Oh, they did. But I didn't go. Mike didn't go to class.
Mike was too busy watching 8 different music video channels.
Listen, man, I had a ball living on campus. It's a whole different podcast, though.
There you go.
No, and so this is one of the movies that they would put on the movie channel, 8 Mile. It was like on a loop. It was 8 Mile, The Ring, and they would start to shuffle out every so many months. And I remember loving the movie when I first saw it because it's like it's a retelling of his origin story.
Glamorized, I'm
yeah,
sure, yes.
It's not exactly what
Brittany
happened in real life.
Murphy.
Yep. Oh, shout out! Oh, rest in peace, Brittany Murphy, Mekhi Phifer, young Anthony Mackie.
Oh yeah, Anthony Mackie.
Yeah, great movie.
Clarence.
His real name's Clarence. I saw this movie again recently, maybe a couple of weeks ago, on a reaction channel. I do that. That's my thing. And his acting is actually really bad in it. I don't know if I just was caught up in the moment because it was like, oh, this is Eminem's story or a version of his story or where I was just in life at the time. And of course, that was also back when Eminem was like this prominent #1 rapper. Some people still think he is today. Most people don't think so. The Eminem we have now is a far cry from what we got back then with Slim Shady and the Marshall Mathers. Mm-hmm. But for whatever reason, looking back in this, like his acting in the movie is really bad. Like it's almost like let's just have you in the scene, but let's not have you deliver the dialogue. Everybody else can tell the story. I think they could tell the story if he didn't say a word, really, because it's almost like again, it's things are happening to him. He's the straight man in the film. Everything happens to him, but it can be interpreted and told to us by the other actors because he's always with other people in this film. He's got his old little crew that he runs with, and his co-workers when he's in the plant working, the steel mill. The other characters around him are big enough supporting actors. They can help tell the story without him having to say, really, a young Michael Shannon is in that movie. Kim Basinger is in that movie.
Yeah.
So you have
heavy hitters.
Heavy hitters, exactly, that can tell the story without you really having to say much.
Yeah, that was that's smart casting.
It
right
was,
there.
yeah.
Around him.
You surround him with people that can.
But you think they should have cast somebody else in the Eminem role? Would have been better?
I do, and I say that because there's another movie he was supposed to be in called Southpaw. It was about a boxer.
Yeah,
And
Jake Gyllenhaal
Yep,
took over.
and he took over. Yep, Eminem I think was training for the role, and I think broke his hand, so they had to, pivot, and which is funny because in the movie the finishing move was a pivot. Anyway, yeah, they get Jake Gyllenhaal, but when you watch his performance, I see a lot of Eminem's performance in 8 Mile in that, but obviously Jake Gyllenhaal is a superior actor to Eminem. But I could see how this would be Eminem vehicle as well. He's all over the soundtrack. He's got the lead song in the film.
He does.
Just like he does in 8 Mile, Lose Yourself. But yeah, after watching this movie 22 years later, and then watching Southpaw, I agree. Miscast.
Miscast.
You don't have to play yourself in your movie about it. You can get somebody else.
All right. Yeah, I think I watched it that one time. I liked it. I thought it was good. But anytime that I've ever gone back to go watch something on YouTube from it is always the ending rap battle. It's never any other part of his
Right.
acting. And I think part of the Part of the reason I gave a pass about any bad acting, or because I knew that he wasn't an actor.
True.
So I gave him a bit of a pass. Plus, he was like one of the, or if not the hottest name in music at the time.
Yeah.
So that's also exciting to see him in that, and do something like that. So yeah, I get it. I haven't gone back to watch it. I have no interest in rating his acting acclimate. So, what about this one though, Mike? What about Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker?
Come on, man. We're going to do this again?
In the 2002 Star Wars Attack of the Clones, the 2005 Star Wars The Revenge of the Sith.
So you want to fight today?
Jedi.
You want to fight
Hayden Christensen, yes, miscast. Yes, miscast. And you know why they miscast it? Is because who else was in consideration for the role?
I don't know. You tell me.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
No.
Leo would have killed it, dude.
He's
Leo
too
would have
good of an
killed
actor.
it.
That was 2000.
That's exactly right. He's too good. Look, think of Man in the Mask, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? That Leo, that young, talented, uber talented Leo as Anakin Skywalker can perfectly portray the duality of what's going inside of him. The duality of I've got to be an honorable Jedi and I am in love with Padme. Those two, that duality, Hayden Christensen just brought one blank emo slate to all of it. When he was younger, I like him as an actor. I liked him in Life as a House. I watched Life as a House with Kevin Kline and him before the Star Wars release of that because I wanted to get a sense of what Hayden Christensen was. So I watched him in that, and he was good in that. But he was playing an emotional teenager in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And he just played that same emotional teenager as Anakin. And it just didn't, for me, it doesn't work.
But you know his age is supposed to be that.
I know, but it's just his portrayal of what Anakin was. I would just rather have seen Leo in it. I would have rather have seen Leo, maybe other actors, I don't know. But the child that he was and the young man that he became, I was rooting for that child. I'm not rooting for Anakin Skywalker in these movies. He is being bullheaded. I know he's portraying a teenager that isn't one, but him and McGregor's chemistry was off to me. He was this spiteful Padawan. His love for Padme was clear. But also, there was a time where it was a little inappropriate, it felt at times. And then he felt younger than her.
Well, he is.
I know. But also, like, why would she love him? Because he's not portraying any qualities that you would think as the leader of a planet would be into. There was so much going on in that movie. At the end of the day, I just didn't like him in the role. I know that Leonardo DiCaprio was up for it as well. I think Leo would have killed him. So, in comparison, if you had to choose the two, today, it's a no-brainer, dude. It's Leo all day and every day. For any role, if you had to take Hayden...
I can't say any role, though. I can't.
Any role.
Because I don't see...
Leo.
Leo doesn't do the fantasy genre like that. I mean, Inception's more sci-fi. He'll do sci-fi, but fantasy, he doesn't really do. Not to my knowledge. He does a lot more grounded material. Look, man, I think it's just bad directing. That's George Lucas's fault.
Could be bad writing too.
And no, people have said that. They said it's bad writing, and I think it's bad directing.
But Hayden seemed to just have one mode. It's just that emo, that real moody. I hate them. Like it's just not. I was like, okay, this is way too one-sided for me. No nuance in his acting for me.
But you see...
And other stuff, I've been okay with him. It's fine. I've liked him. He was playing that. In Life as a House, he was playing that moody teenager. It just... where's the arc? Where's the change? Where's, I don't know.
This is why you don't do 3 and then go back and do prequels. This is why you don't do it.
Yeah. Maybe.
And I still blame George Lucas and the writers.
But I don't think anybody came away from either of those movies saying that Hayden Christensen was my favorite thing.
I have a friend who says Revenge of the Sith is the best.
It could still very well be.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things to really like. I think Natalie Portman's fine in it. I think Ewan McGregor's great. There's a lot of the special effects are great. They're fine. If you love Star Wars, you just love the continuation of the story. Maybe a lot of good things about it. Hayden Christensen rarely is the one. Now, him coming back to do the television series, the Disney Plus show. Really enjoyed to see him again.
It's the same character though.
It is, but there's this nostalgic factor to it. He's older, he's portraying younger in some of the scenes, but he's older now, and there's a sense that he's a better actor after 20 years. Like, I think maybe he portrays it better. If he had the experience that he has now back then, maybe we would all be talking about him. So it might have been just an experience thing, but I still think Leo would have killed that.
Okay.
And we'll never get it except for deepfakes.
We'll never. Yeah, well, you know how that goes.
Here we go. What's next?
All right, starting the second half of my list. I'm going to go right into it again. I'm just going to jump into all these.
Let's go.
This is going to be hard for me to say because this is my favorite actor.
Say which chest.
He's a bunch of people's favorite actor. But this movie was just a huge misstep. Probably one of only in his illustrious career. So, I'll give him some grace. But for today's list, it's got to be discussed. Denzel Washington and Two Guns.
All right.
Mark Wahlberg. Those two don't work together at all.
Okay.
I'm disappointed in Mark Wahlberg too, but I could kind of see him more believable in the role. Denzel, no. This is after Training Day.
Okay.
So I've already seen him kind of in a cop role or law enforcement role, whatever.
Before Equalizer.
Yeah, before Equalizer.
Right.
This is, I just don't know what happened here. I don't know. This just feels like a huge misstep for him to take this role. It seems like maybe it was a favor, or maybe just him trying to decide, let me just show a lighter side of my acting. But the comedy didn't work either. Denzel and Mark don't have good chemistry in this movie at all. And I think you need that for this movie to work. And there's a reason that this movie doesn't get talked about the way I think it should. When you have those, if you just look at those two names on the marquee, you think box office smash. And this couldn't have been the furthest thing away from that because it just doesn't work.
Yeah, I watched this movie and I remember zero about it. Maybe there was a reloading scene, like gun reloading scene that was cool. Other than that, I don't think I remember anything about this movie. I don't know what it's about. But I think if I'm right about it, it is based on a comic book, I think. And that might have been what Denzel was thinking in the fact that there was a lot of comic book adaptations that have been popular. So this is one that maybe he thought that he could get himself into, but I don't remember anything about it.
I don't either. I remember how I saw it in theaters because of the names attached. I'm a fan of both of them individually.
I don't know if I did,
but it was so disjointed when they were in scenes together where they're supposed to have like this. It was almost like Bad Boys. Martin and Will supposed to have this back and forth
without the chemistry. In the comedy.
Abbott and Costello type comedy. And it just the age difference too for one. Like Denzel is this older, seasoned actor. Mark Wahlberg was still fairly young at the time. Maybe that was a big part of it too, but it just didn't work for whatever reason.
It's felt getting that movie like Safe House kind of mixed up a bit in my mind. With Ryan Reynolds.
To a lesser degree, that
feels a little that way.
There's a lack of chemistry there, but to me, that's a superior film.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, at least I remembered it.
And also, that's not a comedy. Two Guns has comedic elements that the jokes are all flat; they don't land at all.
Ryan Reynolds in something that isn't a comedy is wild to me. Okay, how about this one? How about take this up your pipe and smoke it here, bud?
Oh, hey, yo.
How about this Batman movie? Bruce Wayne played by George Clooney in 1997. Batman and Robin.
You really gonna do two Batman movies on one list?
Because they deserve to be on this list, clearly, because they're just terrible casting choices. To the point where George Clooney even has admitted that was a terrible movie. A terrible casting choice to put him as Batman. George Clooney was just a super hot actor at the time, coming off of ER. There's that Jennifer Lopez movie that he was
out of sight. Love that movie.
That was really good, and he was just getting cast in a lot of things at the time, so they put him as Batman. And I had my reservations from the start about him being Batman. I just didn't think that he could do the dark part of it, and I was right.
Yeah.
I mean, he can't. He did at the time. He might have the chopsticks now, but
if And had they just had him play Bruce Wayne, a different actor in the suit, would that have worked for you?
Yeah, but man, that actor in the suit's going to have to be able to emote enough to like George Clooney to make me believe it is George Clooney, and have the acting, the acclimate to act through a suit menacing. So maybe if they cover the entire face and it's all black or something,
I got
they
it.
would have done it.
Give him George Clooney's stunt double in the suit, only shoot from sides and the back, and whenever you hear dialogue, you put George Clooney in a booth and let him ADR the lines. How about that?
Or another actor ADR the lines, because it's believable that his voice would maybe be changed as he's back.
There you go. We just fixed it.
Yeah, but no, it was, again, this is Batman's franchise trying to profit off of the toy aspect of the superhero industry, right? So it had to be this was the most kid-friendly Batman they maybe ever had.
Was this the intro of the nipple suit, or was that?
This is the nipple suit. This is ice skating at the beginning. This is introducing a female superhero,
Crazy.
Alicia Silverstone. This is Arnold Schwarzenegger trying to do all the quippy ice lines. Yeah, it's all the campiness. It's just a total 180. Like, they needed to course correct after Batman Returns because it was so dark. They just went way over to the wrong, I'd say the wrong side. Their pocketbooks probably said to the right
Did
side
Shoemaker
because they
direct
sold
that
some of
too?
the stuff. Was that?
Shoemaker directed
Yeah,
this?
Shoemaker
Okay,
did this
well,
one.
there you go.
There you go. Yeah, so George Clooney, pretty easy on that one. Who they put in that role, I don't have a clue because if you did it today, maybe a Chris Pratt or something, but like the comedic, the fun aspect of it just makes me think that was going to be a hard cast anyway. It's not going to be a dark Batman, so I guess I get what they were trying to do with the George Clooney stuff, but it just didn't fit. It just didn't seem to fit.
So that's the problem, though, because now this I do know a little bit about the actual comic and the character.
Yeah.
It's a dark character. I mean, this
It
guy
is a
got
dark character.
childhood trauma he hasn't healed from, which is why he is the way he is. Let's not even have it. It shouldn't be happy-go-lucky. It shouldn't be fun and vibrant. It should be dark. That's why I like Robert Pattinson Batman so much, because he's a young Batman and he's a brooding Bruce Wayne.
Yeah,
He's trying to work things out on both sides. So
it is good. It's good.
yeah. My last one, I talked about Denzel and Two Guns,
Yes.
and I was also Mark Wahlberg. I'm going back to Mark Wahlberg.
Oh.
Yes.
All right.
And this, to me, I hated this movie. And I hated it because I felt like I was, once again, tricked. Thinking it was something that it wasn't.
Golly, it's not an M. Night Shyamalan movie, is it?
You know it. You already know it.
We were tricked.
Or you could say we were trapped because, he just released Trapped. Well, when y'all hear
I'm
this,
gonna watch Trapped. I need to see that movie.
I want to say.
Yeah, don't tell me.
I already know all the spoilers because I didn't want to see it.
No.
He's going to have to earn my $15 now. Sorry.
And his daughter too, apparently.
Don't even get me started.
She's continuing the madness.
Yeah, another podcast. So this
One day he's gonna hit a home run again, dude. I'm just waiting. One day he's gonna hit another. He's gonna get another 6 cents. He's gonna get another 6
we're
cents.
talking about 25 years removed from
Well,
that.
I think Signs is right up there the two with me. For me.
Okay,
For
so
me.
22 years then. That was 2002.
But yeah. Ugh.
I think he's long gone from the great.
Everybody expects it now.
They do.
And they need it from him. So
I think
it's
he
hard.
feels the pressure. He
Oh,
feels
man.
the pressure.
Yeah, he can't do a romantic comedy now. That's the thing.
Ooh.
He's got to do his genre.
See a twist in that.
Because Shyamalan movies are now a genre unto themselves.
They are.
They're like the Tarantinos. I'm not saying that he's as good as Tarantino. I'm just saying, you know what a Tarantino movie is. You know what an M. Night Shyamalan twist is. That he's defined. He's so good. His movies were so good that he defined a genre unto himself, right? A genre. Excuse me. So he's stuck. I think
I think he's stuck too. But I mean, people keep greenlighting his movies, so
Yeah, somebody is.
Anyway, you can spend that money to me. I'll take it and run with it.
Anyway, what's the name of this movie?
Mark Wahlberg in The Happening.
There it is.
Um,
Now, is it his acting or is it the movie? Because the movie's bad.
movie's bad, and
But
he's bad
it's
in
intriguing. It was intriguing though in the trailer
it. Oh,
part.
the
of
trailer
it.
was great. So
I wanted to know what the heck was happening.
I read this the other day somewhere that they said somebody said in the comments, a trailer is its own piece of art independent from the film.
I agree with
And
that.
I 100% agree. Because how many times have we discussed off mic, on mic, we saw the trailer and that's what got us in the theater, and
Wait.
the finished product is not what we got.
Dude, if you ever go on a podcast on your own, off mic, on mic is your title of that podcast.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. All right. So my last
On
podcast
mic, off Mulley.
lasted 6 months. So I'll give this one 6 months, and this we'll have a
Hey,
falling out,
dude,
and then
have we been going
I'll do
longer
my
than
own
6
thing.
months? I think we've been going longer than 6 months, haven't we?
Oh,
I mean, in friendship.
It's time for some beef then.
Beef?
So that's how the last one ended. Okay, so
That's what everybody at home is wondering. Where's the beef? The old Wendy's slogan. Where's the beef between Mike and Mulley? When is it going to happen? When is the love interest going to jump in and get them both mad at
I
each
got a
other?
track record. I don't have to tell you, man.
I don't know. We don't need to go into that. Okay.
No, we don't. Yeah, so
The happening.
the movie was bad. Trailer was great. So we talk about how the trailer is a separate piece of art from the movie. The trailer is never going to be indicative of what the finished product is.
It should be. There should be some truth in advertising when it comes to movies.
You know what? You could almost say there's an argument to be made that a trailer could be clickbait.
It is clickbait.
It is.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
just to get you in there. It's just to get your money.
If it's got to show you, spoil you the film to get you in there, it will do that. Check out the Deadpool trailers.
Facts.
Happening right now.
So it's like you just said. The movie itself was bad. I agree. But also Mark Wahlberg's acting choices in this movie were weird.
He is blank in a lot of what I remember.
And then you put him opposite Zoe Deschanel, who she's known for being quirky in any role she's in.
That is.
It's just like this is so.
It's a weird combo.
It's a weird combo. There's supposed to be a romantic element to it between the two of them. That again, I didn't jive with that either. There's a couple of close-ups of Mark Wahlberg where he's delivering lines where he makes these weird faces, and it's just like, yo, pan out, zoom out a little bit.
Oh, it's like this weird. What's going on? Look.
Yeah. He's supposed to be an English teacher, and he's making some weird decisions in the classroom, and the principal walks in, and he's like ducking behind students, like, oh, here she comes, she's looking. It was just, the whole thing was bizarre for me. I don't know what was going on there.
And the explanation at the end of what was happening was so
Stupid.
disappointing. I mean, audible people, I remember the theater like, what?
Yeah. I was one of them.
Audibly, people were.
And then because people were saying, oh, this was basically like a green movie, like take care of the earth, or this is what will happen kind of thing. So like there was a message behind it. Don't give me a message in the movie, not like that, okay?
Agenda.
Yeah, we're all
Agenda
doomed
movies.
anyway. It doesn't matter.
But I don't feel like M. Night's an agenda type
I
filmmaker.
don't think so either. I think someone was just trying to justify the ending by giving it.
Yeah, I think people read into it, and whoever wrote it had that agenda, but not him. But he thought it was a great twist.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Well, I mean, he writes.
Did he write that?
I know he writes a lot of his material, so I'm not sure if he wrote that one or not.
Dang it, M. Night.
But
Why did you make me watch
Looking
that?
at his track record from then till now, I could see that he wrote it. Who knows? Mark Wahlberg didn't work, and the movie didn't work.
It didn't work.
So it's a
yeah.
twofer on this one.
I just don't know who you could put in that role. Okay, Leonardo
Stop,
DiCaprio
man.
in every role.
Even he couldn't save it. You know what?
Leo could have saved that.
Because Zoe Deschanel's in it, and she already starred with this guy in 500 Days of Summer, which I love. Put Joseph Gordon-Levitt in that. He's just as quirky to me.
Everything that happens to him, Wahlberg could happen to him, and it'd be the same. Probably the same reaction.
It would be more tolerable if it was
Same
him.
might be, yeah.
Because he's known for kind of being a little quirky with his roles, more obscure. So
Okay, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. All right, another superhero film for me.
I got two coming up.
Oh, nice tease. This is she was in 2 of the Fantastic Four movies. This is Jessica Alba as Susan Storm, the Invisible Woman. And she just didn't. She dyed her hair blonde for the role.
And she got blue contacts, like piercing blue.
It didn't match her aesthetic from what we knew her. I didn't think it particularly looked good on her. Period.
Yeah. It looked more like cosplay.
Yeah. You're right. And I just miscast. Like I get they were going again. They go with the hot girl. They go with the girl that's coming off something hot or trying to get butts in the seats. You know what I mean? But this particular case, I just I like her in a lot of stuff. I just don't like her here. And from the very moment she was cast, I was like, this is why I don't get it. And I have similar reservations about Vanessa Kirby. I like
I
Vanessa
was gonna say
Kirby,
the same exact thing.
but I don't know if she fits.
Well, she already has the blonde hair and the blue
She
eyes.
does,
has
but it's
that.
not all about that. Like with the Alba thing, I think her comedy. She tried to do a little comedy in this, and she's supposed to be the romantic intellectual between the two villain and the main hero.
Yeah.
And I kind of didn't totally grasp onto that for either one.
You know what's funny about Jessica Alba? Like, if you look at her career, which I can't speak very much to, but I know a little bit about a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really know where to put her. Like, I don't know what kind of actress that she's supposed to be. Like, is she a serious actress? I don't know. Is she supposed to be comedy? Like, she seems more like, when you look at her, if you just look at her acting ability, I would just pin her as the romantic comedy type actress. That's what she seems to fit best in, based on her acting ability alone.
No, but see, I've seen a lot of her movies, so
You saw Honey?
I think she was good in Honey.
Her New York accent was horrible.
Horrible, maybe, but her dancing she was a good dancer, and she was first introduced to everyone as a action star
Oh, the
in
TV
a
show,
television
right?
series.
Yeah.
So that was how she was a Jennifer Garner type, where Jennifer Garner was an A-list, and forgive me, I don't remember exactly what the name of the Jessica Alba action one was, but it was on Fox. I remember that.
Dark something. Dark.
Yell It Down at Home.
It'll come to me, but yeah.
And so that's where she was coming from for me. And now she was a romantic interest of Dane Cook in Good Luck Chuck. She was in that
Rom-com,
movie.
See? That's I heard it's a great movie.
It was just okay. Her part of it was just okay. Again, I think she did her best as an action star in the television show. And then Honey, I found her to be a kind of adorable. Oh, and there's this one movie that she's in that nobody talks about. It's called Sleeping Dictionary, and where she plays a Native woman and she basically what her tribe does is that they assign a woman to the new colonists. I think this is way back in the past. This is a historical film. But they would give foreigners a woman out of their tribe so she could live with them and be with them to teach them her culture, kind of a thing. And so she was awesome in that. She was really good in that movie. That might be the best thing I've ever seen her in. But in this, and trying to squeeze her in to, I just think a suit that just didn't fit her. That role just didn't fit her. She was the hot girl. They put her in there. And I just think it was miscast, and it wasn't that she wasn't believable as a superhero, because she does have the action chops to do that. But as the Invisible Woman, she's not having to do karate kicks or punches. It's all like hand movements and doing invisible things, or it's literally being invisible.
Yeah.
And then when she wasn't invisible and visible, I just didn't. Her connection with the other characters. And even her brother didn't look like her brother. It just didn't connect. Chris Evans and her don't look anything alike, and they're brother sister. So it just didn't fit for me. So
Yeah, I know she was also in a horror film called The Eye, which I know you didn't see. She's a blind woman. She gets an eye transplant. The eyes.
I remember that.
Yeah. But again, like, her career's kind of been all over the map.
It is.
And it's
That's what we're talking about.
I don't really know where she's supposed to fit. Like,
well, where she is now is probably where she fit, which is like a billionaire business owner.
She's doing great. Like, out of Hollywood, she's doing great.
She found it.
Yeah, good for her.
She found her role. All right, I've only got two more left. What do you got?
All right, next one for me is Ezra Miller as the Flash.
Yeah.
And this is not even talking about like all the off-screen, the legal stuff going on. I'm not even going to get into that. This is just when I think of the character Barry Allen, I'm thinking of what I've seen on the CW show with Grant Gustin. That's Barry Allen.
Yeah, that's Barry.
And to me, Barry Allen is the more serious character, not this happy, jokey, clumsy, awkward kid. That's more, from what I've been told, that's more Bart Allen. Barry Allen is more of the serious, the straight man. And we don't get any of that in Ezra Miller's version of the Flash. And so to me, I don't know if it was a miscasting or maybe if they wanted to go with a different version of the Flash, but they still named him Barry Allen. So without just fully nerding out with the podcast listeners, it just didn't work for me. And the Flash is one of my favorite superhero characters. And after seeing the TV show, how excited I was to see them do this character justice with a bigger budget, special effects. Then when you actually got the Flash and saw the abomination that it was, I was just like, it just totally ruined it. It soured me on the character. It soured me on the whole. Well, it was like one of the last movies of the DCEU anyway.
Yeah, kind of killed it.
Kind of like an afterthought.
They thought it was good. I mean, they already made the switch by the time that the Flash movie came out. But if it had any chance of revival, they really thought it would be with the Michael Keaton return and Ezra Miller being the Flash to connect those universes. But I thought about it too, man. I thought about putting him on this list, but I didn't bump up against him being a bad Barry Allen as much because it just was a quirky one. But I don't think he was a guy that anybody rooted for. Like even in the Justice League stuff where we saw him interact with his father and things, I didn't really feel empathy for his character much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And whereas I did more for Grant Gustafson, and probably if we had a different actor in for Ezra, maybe they could have pulled that out of me more. So I'm down with that. I understand that. This one I was just annoyed by, dude. This really performance. And look, it's not the kid's fault, I don't think. I think the kid was instructed to do this, but it just bothered me throughout the film. This kid was good. I liked him in Karate Kid. I liked him in The Pursuit of Happiness with his father.
Ooh, I almost put him on my list.
But Jaden Smith as Jacob Benson in The Day the Earth Stood Still is one of the most annoying acting performances I have ever seen. He is whiny. He is a bane of the film's existence to me. He should not be a part of this movie. I don't understand his purpose in the movie, what purpose he fulfills, other than the bratty kid that they have to drag along to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
I think he's supposed to make some kind of connection with the alien. It's his part to make him feel for the Earth. I think that was ultimately what his role was supposed to be. But man, by the time I finished watching him in this role, I myself will just let the Earth go. Because we're saving because of this one kid. It is that annoying.
No, I'm 100% with you. Like, I saw this movie in theaters. I mean, because like anybody else, I'm a fan of Keanu Reeves. I love Jennifer Connelly. I think she's one of the greatest actresses of all time.
A patient saint with Jaden Smith.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I can only imagine. I bet he was like,
dude.
Maybe being Will Smith's kid, I bet in between takes he just probably would not shut up. I just see it happening.
But dude, I like him in other things, so I don't blame him for I think it's just a miscast and bad instruction because maybe another kid in that role would have been just as annoying because that's what they were instructed to be. Because I liked him in Karate Kid. I was down with that. He was a little annoying in that, but I didn't bump into that at all. And in Pursuit of Happiness with his right beside his father. Way better than After Earth, by the way. I was fine with that. You know, that was it made me care for the character more. But he was a baby. Felt like
I'll give you a better example of what
hit me.
This character should have been.
Hit me.
And who?
Hit me with it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm doing my hoo-ah, like I'm doing Al Pacino. Hit me, man.
Dakota Fanning in 2 movies. One is War of the Worlds.
Oof. Okay. Yeah.
And to me, her acting is phenomenal. And that phenomenal.
It is really, yeah.
And then the other one is she's much younger, but this is Man on Fire.
Yeah. Chrissy Benner.
Yeah, she's able to get John Creasy, Denzel Washington, to come out of his shell and feel again. You know, she gets him to basically, hey, open up. It's okay to open up. It's okay to see my side. You don't have to just be this stone-faced wall. You put that same character in The Day After Tomorrow. You
got it.
Not The Day After Tomorrow. That's a different movie. This is
The Day the Earth Stood Still.
All this day stuff. Yeah, she could get the Keanu Reeves alien to see humanity.
You solved it, dude.
Thank you.
You solved it. You got it. Just miscast.
You know what? Maybe even throw in some Abigail Breslin from Little Miss Sunshine. She could do it. Just no more Jaden.
No, Haley Joel Osment, is that something you could put? Remember, like a pay up forward type.
He could do it.
Dude, we have just totally solved that. But
Three times. We saw it 3 times.
But he just came across as this whiny little brat.
Yeah, he did.
And it just made you like, dude, all right, take this kid.
You know what's funny is
take him with you.
Whenever that movie's on TV, my dad watches. He's got that one and Pitch Black, Chronicles of Riddick. And those are on. He'll watch those
nice.
to the death. And so when this movie's on, The Day That Stood Still, it's the one thing he continuously says is, this kid's annoying. He needs to be whooped. He does it every time, and I 100% agree with him on that.
Dude, I'm with. Oh my gosh, dude. All right. What's your last? You have one more left?
Yeah, last one for
hit me. Oh, I'm gonna keep saying hit me. I don't know why I keep saying that. Masochistic or something.
Hey yo, Nicolas Cage as Ghost Rider.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, now you could say Nicolas Cage in a lot of different movies.
Okay, so here's the thing. I think, and I said this before, maybe off mic. I'm not sure. Again, off mic, on mic. I like that.
Yeah, check out his new podcast, Off Mic, On Mic.
Nicolas Cage is like, he's like Bill Murray. Like, he's like an enigma on screen and off screen. But he's like, he has deep connections to old Hollywood, you know. And I think a lot of those old Hollywood connections, like, he's very quirky, eccentric, enigmatic. Like, he's just like, he's unexplainable. You know, he's a conundrum. You can't figure it out. So I think he's just misunderstood as an actor. He can be all those things and make sense for the character. But as Johnny Blaze is none of the things that Nicolas Cage is.
Yeah, I agree. First of all, I agree with you about him being. I think somebody else would have been better.
Yeah, he's like a mythical creature.
Yeah.
You know, he is like, we always say, oh well, this animal is my what's the phrase? My spirit animal. Like, Nicolas Cage is a spirit animal. Like, that's just what he is. Like, he doesn't even exist on the same plane as mere mortals. He's something else. But none of those things fit into Johnny Blaze or Ghost Rider, you know? Ghost Rider is a very dark character. He's not quirky. He's not eccentric. He's just a dark,
yeah, he played a really moody. And I think maybe the character would have benefited being a little bit more Chris Evans-ish, in the sense that it's just a little bit more like he's a cocky stunt performer,
right?
And but the way that Nicolas Cage portrayed Ghost Rider was that he already had some of this mystical dark things that he was into, you know, and it just like. It's just weird because I know Nick Cage is a huge comic book fan, so I don't know if he got his inspiration from the comic books or not, but I think film-wise it would have been better portrayed by somebody else that might have been able to be a better contrast to what the Ghost Rider was, whereas Cage seemed like he was already a little dark.
Yeah.
He's already portraying dark.
And the good thing about the Johnny Blaze character is, at least for the movie, he doesn't have to fit into like a very small age group. He could be a little younger or older. So I'm thinking, if we don't get Punisher, you could put Thomas Jane in that.
Okay, yeah.
I think he could have done it.
Yeah, that's right.
Liev Schreiber could have done it. This is 2008, so I'm thinking about who was hot in 2008. At this point, Russell Crowe's already put on too much weight, but if he could slim down, 2008, Russell Crowe could have done this.
Oh, he'd never do it.
He never would. You're right. Yeah.
I don't think he would ever do that. I didn't think about that. Yeah. All right, good one. That was a good one. All right, my last one. I told you that there was another Oscar winner coming on this, and this is absolutely one of the worst performances I've ever seen on screen, and it can't be blamed on him. It has to be blamed on casting in the film, probably more the film based on what the film is, but the cast, he just was not, I don't know what he was instructed to do, what he was doing, but he went on to win Oscar. So Eddie Redmayne is a great actor. I think he's a really good actor. And but in the movie Jupiter Ascending from 2015, he plays a guy, and forgive me if I'm getting this name wrong, probably don't need to ask forgiveness, but Bellum Abra Sachs. Bellum Abra Sachs is the name of the character. That should have been enough to be like, I'm avoiding this movie. But anyway, his acting, a lot of people agree online, it's just all over the place. It's just everything. He's like bipolar on screen. He's everywhere all at once.
And his choice to speak really low, his dialogue, I saw it on the big screen with the ex-girlfriend because she wanted to see it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can barely hear what he's saying.
Yeah, it's just the choices were weird in a weird movie directed by the Wachowskis, and I think there's a sense that people are coming back to this movie and trying to really more appreciating than it was at the time. I thought it was an epic failure at the time of watching it, but people have gone back, and Mila Kunis is in this movie,
And
Channing Tatum, and he plays kind of this winged warrior type person, and she's the the lead in the movie. She's the one that everything's happening to. So Redmayne and his motivations, but it's just he chews the scenery around everything. All that CG scenery that's behind him, he chews it all up. But it is in the most weird way, and you would never, after watching this film, he said, "This guy's an Oscar winner."
Yeah.
You would never guess that.
This is
So good on him for bouncing up
the Stephen Hawking movie?
movie.
Yeah, okay.
He's really good in that. But in this, again, hard to blame the actor because the actor's good. Won an Oscar not long after this. So it had to be the choices, his instructions from the director, and how it was written that all informed his performance. It just made me think. I don't necessarily think that someone in the role would have been better if the role was that bad, but he did himself no favors by that performance. And so that's one of the worst casting choices ever, and it may just be because it's one of the worst roles ever.
Okay. Is that... Well, he bounced back with the Fantastical Beasts franchise.
Yeah, arguably.
I mean, well, they're better than
way better than
this
that.
is, yeah.
Whatever that was, yeah. Yeah, that was an LSD dream that you want to forget. That was crazy.
I always put this movie and Cloud Atlas in the same...
Wachowskis are both of those, right?
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, but see, that was the thing for a while. Wachowskis meant Matrix. So I was like, oh, I'm looking forward to everything they're going to do.
And you know what?
And
I didn't fall for that because they had been so far removed from the Matrix at that point.
Yeah, Speed Racer was the next thing they did after.
That
was outside of the Matrix, and it was okay, but it wasn't. But I wasn't a big Speed Racer fan. Like I wasn't a cartoon. I didn't watch the cartoon at all. So. And there was an anime feel to it, and Emil Hirsch, and all that are in there. So there's a lot of things that I didn't get because I wasn't a fan of the cartoons.
I think listening to your list has been much more entertaining than I thought it would. Like for me, my list is an afterthought. Listening to you has been very, very entertaining, and I think out of your list, it made me think of another list: the top 10 movies where if this person is cast, you know it's going to be bad.
Oh, that's like damning an entire actor's career.
It kind of is,
know.
but just listening to you, it made me think, okay, the bad casting usually equates to a bad movie. I mean, your list kind of proves that. I think my list kind of proves that. So
if they're in it,
it's a thread.
It's not going to be good. Avoid this movie at all costs if this actor is cast in it. Wow. All right. So if you want us to see, you want us to hear us go nuclear on an actor's career, you let us know in the comments or email us through our various social media and contacts. Obviously, we are on every conceivable streaming platform. It feels like at least all the major ones: the Apples, the Spotify's, hopefully the YouTubes, all the ones that you guys use. And obviously, if you're listening to this, you found us somehow. Please continue to subscribe. We'd love to have you listen to more of our episodes and let us know. Actually, reach out to us. Let us know what some of the worst casting choices that are on your list. We always want to know what you guys have to say. And that wraps us up for another one, man. Another one in the books, Mike. What do you got to say to the people? Give us an outro.
Just one last thing. Off Mic, On Mic podcast.
Ooh, coming soon.
Coming fall 2026.
That's it.
After this friendship ends,
That's
presumably, because that's usually how this thing goes.
It does. This podcast, that ends friendships, and then we just move on. And then eventually, Mike, you're going to have to end the relationship with yourself. I don't know how that's going to work because you're going to be by yourself on the podcast. Unless, you know what? You need to find another Mike.
That's called suicide.
No. We're not doing that. No. You need to find another mic, so it could be an on mic and an off mic.
Oh.
And that when one mic is talking, the other mic isn't, and vice versa, and it works. And I'm not changing my name for you. So I'm not going to be a Mike, but you need to find another Mike.
Okay.
Or a Michael or a Mikkel.
And if there's any,
you can just
the European version.
Yeah. Michelle. It could be a Michelle,
I
because
got
you can
I
just
got
go
a
Mike
cousin,
Mike.
Michelle, but I don't know if she wants to do a podcast. Cooking is her thing, so
Well, you've already ruined your friendship, so why not just go into family relationships?
to ruin those.
And start ruining those with podcasts.
Mike the Destroyer.
Folks, if you want us to continue this open therapy between us, be sure that you are subscribed and listening to our podcast. Send us that support. Listen to all the stuff that we have. We really do hope that you enjoyed this. And we'll see you again next time with another top 10 list from the Top 10 Movie Podcast. I'm Mulley. He's Mike. We're out.
Peace.
Looking up. I don't know why I'm.
Yeah, I was like,
up.
what is happening on?
I was getting inspiration from above. I was like reading the teleprompter up here of how to end it.
Why would there be a prompt?
It's just God giving me the prompt.